My thing is the efficacy effect. So efficacy is all about creating desired results, your ability to create a desired outcome. And we can apply that to business, we can apply it to personal development, we can apply it to medicine, for instance, creating results you want for a particular medication. So I'm really interested particularly in helping people that create efficacy in other people. So my message goes out primarily to educators, trainers, facilitators, coaches, mentors, but indeed absolutely anyone can use this, because every day we're dealing with people, whether it's a friend, whether it's a partner, whether it's a family member, whether it's a colleague at work. Every time we interact with somebody, we can create an opportunity to cause a butterfly effect of attitudes, behaviours and belief systems which affect what outcome or result that person may face in the next 5 minutes or the next 5 years or the rest of their lifetime. One of the best ways for me to explain it is I'll give you a little bit of a story about how the efficacy effect really affected my personal life. It was back when I was at secondary school. 14-year-old girl, I was sat back in a history school English class in the early 1990s, and on that particular day we were learning about Henry VIII and how many wives he had. And I sat there at 14 years old, very, very confused about why this was important to learn. And with genuine intrigue, I put up my hand and I said, "Sir, what's the point in this? I don't understand." It probably came across a little bit differently as a 14-year-old.
No questions.
That is exactly what happened. So he actually said, "You rude and preposterous little child," after he said, "Get out."
How dare you question my authority?
Were you there?
No.
But, and I was humiliated. I was absolutely humiliated. I was also really shocked, upset, and quite disappointed, because I wanted to know the answer.
You had another question.
And it actually links to learning theory. Knowles' theory of andragogy is that people have to understand the relevance of what they're learning. They have to see the reason or the meaning for anything. For us to just get out of bed in the morning, we have to know why, what we're getting out of bed for. Anyway, so it left me feeling excluded from the opportunity to learn. And I very quickly decided that I was able to learn, and I was stupid, and I couldn't take part in this, and I better not ask questions again, because it's silly and it's rude and it's humiliating and naughty. So my grades went from the very, very top to the very, very low bottom, because I stopped trying. I stopped seeing that there was reason to it, and very, very quickly I was told that I was going to fail in my exams. So I gave up. I thought failure was inevitable. I found myself in a helpless cycle. I created that stimulus of my history teacher, created a belief that I was incapable and not worthy of learning. That created then a behaviour from me, which was to simply withdraw, which created a reaction from my teachers. You can't do it, you are going to fail, you are not going to pass, which then created further belief that was the point. So I found that in the art class, where there is no right or wrong, there is no opportunity for failure, because it's not a test you have to pass, there's no score you have to get. I started hiding there, and I hid there for the next 4 years, waiting for the impending failure of my exams. And it was there in that art room that a magical helper came along and completely changed my life forever, and I honestly believe forever. He came up to me one day and he said, "Sarah, you're an incredibly good artist." And for someone to say I was good at anything was quite a shock for me. It took a while for me to take that in. He said, "You've created enough pieces of work to actually get an A-level in art." And I hadn't even seen this, I'd just been absorbed in something curtains down survival mode. And when he enabled me to open up my eyes to say, I've achieved something, I've not just achieved pretty pictures, I've achieved something that I can take away from this. Meanwhile, I was submitting for the exam, because I thought, well, I'll give this one a go. I also had a solo exhibition request. I got commissioned a solo exhibition for work. And all of a sudden, this art teacher proved to me that I actually could succeed. And this is where I found that learning and success wasn't memorising the names of promiscuous royal gentlemen. It wasn't memorising facts and figures and passing exams. And success wasn't being the person who got the highest score in exams. I suddenly discovered through the eyes of this magical helper that success and learning could happen in many, many different ways. All you need is someone to show you, if it happened, a different way of seeing it. And this then gave me the ability or the confidence to go, right, if I can succeed here, surely success is transferable. If I can succeed in one place, how about I try and apply the success ability that I've now discovered I have to somewhere else? I retook all of my exams purely as a result of suddenly realising that I could be successful in something that I could achieve. I passed all of my exams with flying colours. I then went on to set up my own business in the UK. I travelled the world, and from someone who 1 year ago couldn't wait to leave school and vowed to never ever go back into education again, I then started teaching in countries all around the world. I came back and started my education business. Now I run my education business internationally and trained hundreds of people. And all I would like to say is I wish I could see my history teacher again to say thank you, because he taught me two things. The first thing he taught me is how not to teach. And at that very moment, I didn't realise until years later that was the moment when I decided I wanted to teach, because he taught me what not to do. He taught me the power of how one person with one word can literally change somebody's life and the path that they go down forever. And I'd also like to thank him for the fact that without having that experience of going from things are really terrible and this is an area that I'll never go into, to now turning that around has proved to me the power of efficacy, and now I've made a career out of it. So for me, I now want to teach coaches, teachers, facilitators, educators, mentors, and indeed any other human being who cares about making a difference in people's lives, the methods that they can use to instill, I call it a butterfly effect of success, a success story in other people, by simply taking the time to look at each individual person they work with and finding a way of creating the realisation of their abilities to succeed in what they do. Because for all of us, success is different. For all of us, what excites us is different. So finding the way of uncovering the thought in every individual to help them create this positive state, this positive efficacy effect, helping every person you touch, meet, say hello to, work with, how to create the results that they desire in their life. And there are 5 steps to that that I'll talk about in just a minute.
That is an amazing story. Thank you for sharing it with me. I'm sitting there listening going, tell me if this is sort of right, but efficacy, for me, I would translate that to finding the ability to have self-encouragement.
Yes.
So that you translate everything that goes on around you as supporting. They just said something that could be normally translated as criticism, but I'm going to see, how I can turn that thing turn adversity into something that can really strengthen me. And if it's something within myself, turn vice into virtue.
It's great. I mean, efficacy, it has a number of elements to it, but it's a combination of self-esteem. That's how you feel about yourself. That's how you feel about the situation we're in. There's confidence. Confidence literally means the faith that we have in our ability. So we might not feel very good about ourselves, but we know that we'll get through it. That's confidence. Self-esteem is the way we feel. Then there's self-concept. Who are we? What is our identity? What is our role? Where do we fit in society? What difference or influence can we make or not make? You put all of those things together with a set of attitudes, behaviours and beliefs, and this is self-efficacy. So that enables us to either get the result we want, or at least try to, or if those thoughts and feelings are low and negative, stop us from trying to achieve what it is that we want. Now, the beautiful thing about the efficacy effect of the circle, another model that is called self-fulfilling prophecy, is that at any point you can intercept that cycle. So whether it's a positive or a negative one. So I'll give you a couple of examples. In the self-fulfilling prophecy, you basically have 4 stages. The first stage is a stimulus. Something happens to you. It could be something someone says, it could be an event, it could be some kind of experience. But something happens that initiates some kind of belief which is the next thing. So in my story that I told you, the stimulus was my teacher saying, "You're rude, you're silly, let's just get out of my classroom. You cannot learn, you're silly." The next thing that happens is I then believe, so we can have all different kinds of interceptors to change that cycle around into a positive one. Another example of how this can work is Stephen Covey's Habits of Highly Effective People. Exactly. All about how the thoughts we have create actions. Actions then create habits. Habits then create our characteristics. Our characteristics, the way we naturally, unconsciously then start to behave and react or act on those things, then creates our experience or our destiny or our whole entire string of life events.
Am I allowed to interrupt?
Yes.
I love that it comes down like this. From values, beliefs, thoughts, habits, actions, language. I wrote that you can intersect it in. So, being a bit of a theatre actor, sometimes I know that if I wanted to convince my audience that I'm a character, if I believe I'm a character, it works better. So then I go, okay, so how would my actions work? So my actions then can create beliefs and values, and then language can create physiology and beliefs and values. You can get into the circle at any point.
I love the way you're using a character to step into
Costume, put on a different hat.
Because I mean, there's so much evidence scientifically, biologically, that if we think differently, it creates different reactions in our brain, which creates different hormones and everything else inside of us that changes the way we really do things. If we change the way we're standing physically, the way we put a fake smile on our face, it actually turns into a real one. That can help us be our own interceptor. I love that idea.
I love times something like the costume. So the hat, the shoes, the jacket. The jacket makes the man, or walk in that person's shoes, or put on your hat for particular tasks.
For me, it's lipstick. If I get the red lipstick on,
whatever your colour, the texture. You have a green room next to the stage, and I think a lot of people have forgotten that they are playing a character on the stage. They've forgotten that the audience is even there, and that they can actually exit the stage, change costume, and come back on as a completely different person. So you can be on stage playing the victim role, amazing, like right, no, and that used to be me. And then I realised, hang on, I'm on a stage, and the stage is life, thanks Shakespeare. And I went off stage, in my mind, if you like, and looked at the costume rack and thought, well, I want to look like that, those shoes, that hat, and where's the script? Well, the script says, go make a difference, be the hero, go through the trials, trust yourself, all of these things, enter the stage again. Play that role just as well as you were the victim, and realise you can swap around and have fun. And so the theatre stage is a metaphor for
life script.
Exactly.
You've taken me on to something, the next bit I was going to talk about really quite nicely there. So you're talking about how you can respond to any situation you're in to create the result that you're after, to get back onto that script, that journey to get you to the destiny you want to go to.
And you can renew and create even while faced with something. Go, no, I'm going to respond this way, I'm going to renew myself and have fun or play. But keep going, please.
Have you, I don't know if you've heard of Damien Hughes, the thought leader and leadership? No? Fantastic guy. Anyway, in his book I first came across this notion called event plus your response equals your outcome. And this is very much what the efficacy effect model is like as well. So he believes that every single event that we're faced with, whether it's someone walking into us in the street when we're in a bad mood, or a huge life-changing event that comes along,
compliment, praise,
spilling a cup of tea on the floor, not getting the job, getting the job, whatever it might be, creates us to respond in a certain way. Right, which creates then the outcome and the experience we have of that particular event. Now, Damien Hughes says that between event and response, there's a choice. you have the freedom to choose 100% of the time what outcome is going to be.
What character you're going to play next.
Yes. You cannot control or change what your event is in a lot of circumstances. These things come into our lives, we face situations every day we can't control, they happen to us, things happen to us. But we can 100% choose what our outcome will be by choosing how to respond to that situation happens. So I'd like to share with you a story about how this really, really changed my life. When I was 17 years old, was a large group of friends, and one of our friends at the time was 21, was suffering from Crohn's disease. For those people that are not aware of that, Crohn's disease is a very debilitating disease that actually gets away in the intestines, so the body can't absorb nutrients from the food appropriately.
Very familiar with Crohn's.
Yeah, so it can be managed medically, but for some people it goes too far to be managed appropriately. It can be, unfortunately, something that can't be cured. Now, my friend was suffering from this at the time, and one day we had a phone call to say that he was very unlikely to make it, and if we were lucky, if everyone was lucky, we would have 3 more days left of it. And we were obviously absolutely devastated. Now, we made a together, drove up to the hospital, up from our silence, and thought, okay, we're going to say goodbye to our friend. And we got to the hospital, the doors. Boys came next door, we went to get some coffee, so I walked in alone, walked into the ward, and there was only one bay, the curtain closed. I looked around, and that wasn't him, because none of the rest of them. We slowly walked in, trying to hold back the tears. And all of a sudden I heard this absolute raucous laughter start coming out of his vein. It was his laugh. I thought, oh my goodness, do you know this person's died? Why is there laughter? Oh, the curtains open, this nurse comes out laughing, biggest smile I've ever seen on anyone's face, and she skips past me from his vein. I peeked through and he still sat there giggling, wiping his tears away. Hey friend, how are you doing, babe? And he goes, you alright?
You know you're going to die, right?
Are you alright? He said, yeah, that nurse, she's going to take me for a coffee. She's going to go up to somebody. He's thinking, yeah, she was really good looking. I sat down and I said, mate, look, I don't mean to be doom and gloom here, but I've just been told you're going to die. He sat up in his bed. He said, Sarah, what's in the glass? So I picked up the stick up. He took it off me with a shaking hand. He placed it down on the table in front of him. And he said, Sarah, this glass is Crohn's disease. I cannot do anything about it. It is happened to me. I cannot change it at all. He said it's shit, but it's not happening. He said, however, I have 2 choices. Choice number 1, I have Crohn's disease and I die in 3 days and spend the last 2 days of my life crying. Choice number 2, I have Crohn's disease or I die in 3 days' time having had the best last 3 days I could possibly have had. He said, Sarah, promise me one thing. Promise me. He said, never ever forget that you are going to have shit happen to you all the time. It can be Crohn's disease, it can be a relationship breakup, it could be a career failure, it could be a car crash, it could be not having enough milk when you were dying for a comprehensive. You're always going to have this cup, you're a problem under you. He said, promise me that you will never ever forget that 100% of the time you will always remember that you have choice A or choice B. The thing is in the middle. Choice A is that thing happens to you and you let that be the end. Or choice B, that thing has happened to you and you can choose how you walk around that, how you overcome that, how you react to that to get to the next part of life. That is again the efficacy of that.
Beautiful. It sounds like he's in touch with the Tao, the Qi, which is that Chinese philosophy of Lao Tzu, who said, take a door, take an empty cup, is the space that is just
now, just to give you some news, he recovered and he's wonderful. And I believe it's because of his attitude, his positive behaviour. You know, he's being looked after pretty well. He's on his medication, but he's living a fantastic life.
A good friend of mine has had Crohn's for some 15 years, and she lives a pretty good quality of life. You know, it's not always been pretty.
I do think attitude,
And you know, looking after yourself, loving yourself, forgiving yourself, all those wonderful things that I believe the world is starting to go, yeah, I should start doing that. That's how you do it. That's how you heal yourself.
So, would you like to know the 5 ways that trainers, mentors, educators, coaches,
I think I do.
people can, the steps to go through of how we, as leaders, as influencers, as friends, can help to create a change that interceptor?
Don't want to know.
No?
I'm interested in change or moving forward. Of course I do.
All right. So, the first thing I think to remember is to remember the purpose. If we're dealing with people that we're trying to help, if we're helping them more often than not because they're in a situation of challenge, when we're all in challenge, we're not our best version of ourselves. Okay, so we may have situations where they may be not wanting to change, they may be frustrated, they could be angry, they could be challenging us. I challenged my teacher in that situation. Okay,
So you have to remember your purpose.
remember your purpose, remember your desired outcome. What is the result that you're trying to
Hold
achieve?
the phone there. That has been one of my biggest frustrations until about last night. It took forever to nail down what is my purpose definition. And I've actually always had an inkling of it. And what it came down to was naming it. And not defining it or remembering it, but I like to call it as defining it. And that is trusting the divine in you, whatever that is. And I'm not that religious, I think it's a good feeling. Define it and go, name it. And they say it in that old book called the Bible, you know, that, you know, in the beginning there was the Word,